Oh, how dare you!
Good Lord! What the hell did you drink last night?
This is such a fine, refined, upstanding podcast, and you dare belch right off the bat as we try to simply help you through your Saturday morning hangover? How dare you! Your Uncle Dave is offended.
Disappointed.
And your Uncle Kev is a little bit upset and mortified.
Because that's a better belch than he can pull off.
I don't like to belch in front of people. I find it offensive and crude.
Yeah, not if you do your ABCs, though.
Well, if I need to fart in public setting, I clench my butt cheeks and run for the bathroom. That's a safe space for a fart.
Better out than in.
True, because then you get all the dyspepsia, the gas building up inside, and then when you get home, it's 10 times worse.
Yeah, exactly.
As you people out there know, as we are trying to get you through your Saturday morning hangover, it is time for Sports Frenzy 2.0, the weekend edition.
Your politically incorrect pop culture commentary.
He's your Uncle Dave, the Conquistador Dave Height.
He's your Uncle Kev, the Maestro Kevin Crane.
Welcome aboard. Every Saturday morning, we're here to guide you through the best and the worst in pop culture as you fight off the hangover that you induced on yourself last night as you drank too many different types of beer, hard liquor, and you tried to hit on too many women that were well outside of your range that you could actually believe you could actually score with. We've all been there. We've all been there.
Is nobody asked them out because everybody thinks everybody's hitting on them.
Yes, the pretty girls always say, nobody ever asked me out.
But those who do, but when they do, you shoot them down, you evil witches.
The evil witches. Little ELO there.
I know.
On their farewell tour.
It's a nice segue
to rock and roll.
What do we always start with? Music, baby.
And the concert scene is kicking up, although
we hit a hiccup.
Couple little setbacks here over the past few weeks. We'll get to that in a little bit, but first let's start off with the positive. Let's start off with an actual review. Finally, checking off the bucket list. Getting to see one of the two greatest female rock vocalists of all time, along with Ann Wilson of Heart. Of course, we're talking about Pat Benatar.
Oh, finally. Got the opportunity.
Got lucky, got upgraded seats?
Yes, because of Mrs. C's medical issues with her back, walking with a cane. We did not have to sit on the low chairs in the lawn. We got right under the pavilion at the back end of the seats. Nice, padded, folding chairs. Very comfortable.
Yep, and kudos to the young man. I know Mrs. C went over after the show, talked to him, and told him he did a great job. But yeah, kudos to him for seeing that she was struggling a little bit with the cane.
Was it Luis? I believe.
See, I don't remember that stuff. I never remember the people who do nice things for me.
Well, there you go.
What was your name again?
Kiss my ass.
But yeah, he didn't also. I actually, because I bought the tickets, mister, I did the survey that they sent me, and I mentioned that we got help extraordinaire.
Yes.
From a young man.
Excellent.
So even though I did not know his name, so he'll never get credit, so it's probably 15 minutes of my life wasted that I'll never get back.
But that's all right, because they did right by us.
Yes, I did mention the whole situation and said that was a very, very positive experience.
Yes. Nice venue.
Also a positive experience was the opening act, the Vindies.
Yes. Did you research the lead singer's name?
I couldn't remember how to do a private search. I know you told me last week. I couldn't remember. Very, very pretty blonde woman, lead singer for the Vindies.
Hell of a voice.
Yeah, okay.
Ish.
She's a little too...
Mouthy.
She does the whole Celine Dion, a little too...
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
Comparing her to Pat Benatar is like apples and rancid oranges.
There you go.
And I'm not saying that in a bad way. She did the best she could. She was fine, very pretty.
Yep.
But yes, she was very different, let's put it that way, in terms of her vocal stylings, as opposed to the classics of Pat Benatar.
Yep. Vindies, they played for about a half hour.
Yeah.
Standard opening act.
And I know you loved when they were closing their set out with Black Sabbath. I literally looked to my left and Dave was rolling his eyes. Because Dave loves when every band seems to
fucking hate War Pigs.
Yep.
Oh, God. Most overrated tripe crap.
Witches and black masses.
God. Just be done. Awful.
Why can't somebody come up with a better, more obscure cover song? That's my question.
Ugh.
How about they come out and do Mr. Crowley?
That would be brilliant.
But no, everybody does the same, seems like 7 or 8 cover songs. Highway to Hell, War Pigs. Come up with something that we know, but we haven't heard in a while.
Creative people, come on.
They were fine. They were fine. The Vindies were fine. I give them an A for effort. Maybe a B- for execution.
Yeah.
I mean, she's the star of the show.
Very limber little minx.
Yeah, I mean, she's surrounded by 4 doofuses, but that's fine.
But there you go.
Double guitar attack there.
Yep. Not bad. As they said, this was their first national tour. So.
Yep, and had played the Hi-Fi. Of course, you and I have been there.
Yep.
For Roger Klein.
So. Yeah, they were decent.
Yeah, I've seen worse. Let's put it that way.
We've seen better Rival Sons, and we've seen worse.
Yep. Which leads us into the headliner of the night. Again, we have never seen Pat Benatar. Check it off the bucket list. I've been wanting to see Pat Benatar for years and years. Finally.
The stars aligned.
Yep. Now, we all knew going in, I was hoping against hope that she had stopped this stupid, silly, dumbass protest about singing Hit Me With Your Best Shot, but she is not. So we did not get, arguably, her biggest hit.
Right.
We also did not get Fire and Ice, which I was a little surprised by. But otherwise, I did my research, covered almost every one of her studio albums.
Yeah.
Almost every one of her studio albums represented. And she did about 3 or 4 deep cuts, which I loved.
Yeah. Would you say 45 years that they've been?
Oh, God, yeah. 79.
Yep.
79.
And they're going through, here's one from, and she would rattle off the year, and we're just like, oh, Lord.
Yep.
It's been, wow.
Yep. And she still sounds phenomenal.
Yeah, her vocal range still is killer.
Yep.
Hits the low notes, the high notes, holds the notes.
Yep.
As needed. Very, very impressed.
Yeah. She knows how to sing.
Yes.
That's the key. She knows how to sing. She does not strain her voice beyond what she can handle.
Right.
I'd say she's probably 92% of what she used to be. Still very high.
Easily.
Very high.
Very, very good.
So I would prefer that we highlight some of the deep tracks, because I love to hear some of these songs. My Clone Sleeps Alone, River of Love, awesome stuff.
Yes.
In the Heat of the Night, the title track from her debut album. You rarely hear that. The Ties That Bind, off of Gravity's Rainbow.
She covered everything
And here's the thing.
well.
Here's the thing I will admit. Now, I used to have all of her albums. I don't know if I gave them up, sold them. I don't know if they're still buried in this mess that I call a collection. But I remember these songs, but obviously have not heard them in decades.
Because they don't get the play they deserve.
That's what I was going to say, too.
You get sucked into the 2 or 3 songs that are overplayed.
I was happier, honestly, no bullshit, hearing those songs, happier to hear those. I didn't need to hear We Live for Love.
No, didn't.
Even though that was showcasing her upper vocal register.
Yeah.
And she still sounded phenomenal. Not a big fan of that song. I did like what they did with Shadows of the Night, where it was just her and Neil.
Yeah, that was fun.
Hell is for Children is awesome, as always.
That was freaking fantastic.
And then You Better Run. I was like, those 2 songs I have got to hear. Love is a Battlefield, that's almost a chick song.
Yeah.
Invincible is almost a chick song.
That was the female empowerment.
Yeah. Yeah, because what was Invincible? She said, "This is for all my sisters out there. All my sisters."
Yeah.
Okay, so what does that mean? Okay, so it's for all the women.
Yeah.
We get it.
Empowered.
We get it.
Because it was from the movie The Legend of Billie Jean.
Why don't you walk back and take a hammer and crack one of Neil's nuts while you're at it? Because you're walking out there with that dopey Gilligan hat.
Doofus. But
he dresses like an idiot.
He does.
For his age. Late 60s, the guy's wearing a black Gilligan hat, and he's got gold chains. Yeah. Come on, Neil.
Dude, come on. He can still play.
Oh, he's a great guitarist. I am not disparaging his guitar work. He is great. But you and I...
even tickled the ivories pretty well.
You and I have this problem, and I think a lot of other rock fans do, with the fact that he's kind of forced his way in.
Yeah, pushed his name in there.
Yes, where we all know it's Pat.
It's Pat Benatar. Boom. But I'll give them props. They've been married since, 82?
Yeah, 40 years. 40 years. Yep. She kept her former husband's name. Of course, military man. I did my research.
Yep. Of course, that's how she started out, and that was the brand established.
Yep. Yep, and then we got a couple cover songs in the encore with War, which is another song that everybody seems to go to as one of those.
Really? You're going to do that, but you won't play Hit Me With Your Best Shot? Seriously, come on.
Yep. But very, very cool final song.
The mashup.
Heartbreaker and Ring of Fire. That was awesome.
That was very well executed.
Yep. Could have been the highlight of the night.
Yeah.
And that's the way it should be. Final song.
Should knock it out of the damn park.
Ended on a high note. Drop the mic. Walk off the stage.
Yep. 16 songs. Hour and a half of solid performance.
Yeah, I will give this one, just because I still think we could have got another 15 minutes. It would have been better. I'll give it a week, 3.5.
Yep, that's where I'm at.
Week 3.5, Frenzies. If I'd gotten Fire and Ice and she would have gotten over this stupid protest and just given us those 2 songs, this would have been a strong 3.5, borderline 4.
I agree with you completely on that one.
Yep. But that's what we do. We're picky. We're critics.
We have expectations as frequent concert goers.
We're giving you our honest opinion. And speaking of that, now we can give the kids the bad news.
Yes, we've got hosed out of seeing Enough's Enough, Firehouse, Jackal, and Night Ranger on this coming Friday night. You're listening to this August 3rd. August 2nd, Friday night, we should have seen those bands, but alas, the venue's canceled because of poor ticket sales.
Yep, we were supposed to see them at the Plymouth Motor Speedway in Plymouth, Indiana. 4 days' notice, we were told. The concert and next week's concert, which I think was a Christian rock show.
Yeah.
The following weekend canceled as well because they're not getting enough revenue, ticket sales, as Dave mentioned. not able to sustain the current business model. Which...
Balls!
Yeah, balls! That's a good way to put it. Balls! How about you figure that out 4 weeks ago?
God.
When you're not selling tickets. You knew you weren't selling tickets. What the hell did you think was going to happen? A busload of nuns was going to pull up and buy 50 seats? And then another busload? Seriously, you knew a month ago ticket sales were not going well.
Ugh, so damn frustrating.
So next week...
So that's 2 concerts that have been canceled on us.
In the last 2 weeks.
Yep, we had Tenacious D because of Kyle Glass's stupid-ass comments, and now lack of sales.
Yep. So for next week, that only means 1 review. That would be Collective Soul, who we're seeing next Tuesday night.
Yes.
So we will have that for you next week. We will also, looking ahead to other stuff, TV and movies and all that good stuff. Now, for movies, I am planning, I know you're going to hate me for this.
Just this?
Well, no. I know there's a long, long list of grievances you have for me. Believe me, I know.
All right, what's the movie on
Well,
tap?
I think we're going to have to go our separate ways. Because this is my Planet of the Apes weekend.
What's wrong with Planet of the Apes?
You don't have Hulu!
Oh, fuck Hulu!
Because the Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes is on this weekend on Hulu. And you don't have Hulu.
Son of a
do.
Bitch.
So I'm going to watch The War for the Planet of the Apes, catch up on that, and then watch Kingdom. So I'll have a double ape feature next week on my end. Now, what are you doing? Are you going to sign up right now?
No, I'm looking to see if it's on frickin' DVD yet.
No, it's not.
Bastards.
No. I'm sorry. I'm going to lose out on this in a couple months. I'm getting it for like $2 a month right now for a year. See, that's what you got to do. You got to pay attention on Black Friday. Black Friday is when they say sign up for a year for $2, and that's what you do. The ever-seeing, all-knowing maestro.
I don't want more services.
Services?
Services.
Really?
I was going to go streaming services. It's a mashup. Services.
I just thought you had too much, pub mix
Pub
in your
mix,
face.
yes.
So that's what I'm watching. You can make a decision. There's nothing else out yet. And plus, next week, you don't want to watch the Bike Riders, so it's going to be 2 weeks where I'm going to be watching shit you don't want to watch.
Yeah, the Bike Riders has
I
zero
can't understand
appeal
why you have
me.
no desire to watch the Bike Riders.
It holds
You have a bike!
I do, but this movie holds no appeal to me
Tom
whatsoever.
Hardy?
I don't care. It holds zero appeal.
What if I come back and say it's the greatest movie I ever saw in my life? No, you would not do that. You know I have good taste. Now, the odds that I would come back and say it's the greatest movie ever are infinitesimal.
Yeah, no, it does nothing to pique my interest to want to watch.
Okay. So we're going to be off on our own for a while.
But we will have Deadpool.
That is true. We have found a substitute for our lost concert.
That's right. We are going to see Deadpool and Wolverine.
What was I thinking? Of course. Yes. So I will have the apes. We will both have Deadpool and Wolverine.
And I'll have something that I'll come up with.
Well, no, that's enough. That's enough.
We'll see what happens.
That's enough. Now I can stretch the apes out a little bit.
Well, there you go.
3 movies in a week for me is a lot, especially because SummerSlam is Saturday.
Oh!
So, my Saturday shot literally looks like it could be better than WrestleMania. Literally looks like it could be better. Every belt on the line. Every belt on the line in one night. I'm telling you, this looks good. This looks good. I might have to go out and buy some moderately expensive beer for this. Might have to stay away from
Natty
that.
Daddies.
No, I have sworn off Natty Daddies. Anybody who listened to my music podcast last week, I apologize. Because I think I took a nap halfway through it. Because the Natty Daddies got to me. And I finished it up. I finished strong after I got my little nappy nap in. But no, Natty Daddies are evil. Dave and I have talked about this. Certain types of alcohol mess with your metabolism. You know?
It's true. Some things
people,
you can just drink and drink and drink and nothing, and other things you have one or two in your SOL.
Yep. I'm telling you. Can drink whiskey, can drink any other type of beer, but Natty Daddies, oh my God, can't deal with them. They just get in my system and they take my chromosomes and twist them into a fucking knot and turn me into like Hannibal Lecter. Not good. And then I get sleepy.
You go sleepy time, kids.
Go sleepy. All right, we do have a couple songs to review as well before we move on from music.
Should we go with the remake? The cover?
Sure.
David Lee Roth has done a cover of Baker Street. And as usual, when Dave does a cover, right now he's pretty well true to the original.
Yep.
And the same can be said about this one.
Yep. Baker Street now, one of my favorite songs from the late 70s, early 80s.
I don't know anybody who doesn't have this song.
Oh, I know people that don't like it.
Really?
I know people hate it. And I can't understand it.
My boys even love Baker Street.
Yeah, in the early 20s. Early
20s. And they are very picky about what they listen to.
Yeah.
And this is one of their favorites.
Yeah. No, I think it's shocking that they like it. I love the fact that they like it, but the saxophone might be the deciding factor. That a lot of people, younger people, hear the saxophone, they go, no, we don't do that in our music.
No, the sax is brilliant when done well.
Yeah, you transition from the sax early to the guitar solo late, the killer guitar solo. And then, of course, the original is Jerry Rafferty, and this it's David Lee Roth. Winding your way down Baker Street. Very, very cool song.
Very good.
Great bar song. Oh my God.
Oh my God. Fantastic bar song.
I can't think of a better song to listen to when you're sitting at a bar, lights are dim, you're looking at the bottles behind the bar and all the lights.
Everybody starts singing along.
Yep.
It's just one of those.
Yep. And David Lee Roth, like you said, does a fantastic job of paying homage, doing a very nice job. Keeps his vocals subtle.
Yes, doesn't do anything goofy.
Right. This is pretty much a straightforward, just like with 8675309 Jenny.
Yeah.
Kind of tried to stay as true as he could to the original. So I give him credit. Now, I don't know in terms of rating, I'll give it a 3.
That's where I put it.
Because I don't want to insult the fact that he has done such a good job remaking it. Does he add anything to it? Not really.
No, but he didn't screw it up.
And he's bringing attention. He's bringing attention to the song.
Yeah.
Bringing attention to the original.
Yeah, and he kept it within his current vocal range.
Yep.
And he sounded good with it.
Yep.
So.
Yep.
Yeah, that's why, as a cover, we give it a solid 3.
Yep. And again, what he's trying to do is he's paying homage to the music that he grew up with like us. And he's just doing right by it. He's not trying to make it his own. He's trying to put it out there so younger generations maybe possibly would listen to it.
Rediscover it. I don't know.
Yep. The thing is, you're never going to beat the original.
No.
Jerry Rafferty's version is the best. But
this is a solid homage.
There you go.
Next up, our second song from Soul Asylum, High Road.
Yep, we're seeing them in a couple months.
Yep.
Opening for STP and Live.
God, that's going to be fun.
Yep.
Been waiting to see Live for so long. Just that never seemed to align until now. And then I've seen Soul Asylum a couple of times. It's been a miss and then a hit. So with this song, they definitely are going back to their 90s roots. It's not bad.
Yeah, I didn't mind it. I thought it was fine.
It's not spectacular.
No, I'll give it
but
a strong
it's decent.
2.5.
2.5 is right where
Yeah.
it belongs.
It sounds like Dave Pirner is singing about a song that maybe we should all take to heart in terms of the current climate.
Yeah, take the high road.
Yep, I'm tired of taking the low road. I don't want to fight. Yep. So in that sense, a very good song for the times.
Yes.
Let's put it that way.
But they've stayed true to their roots musically.
Yep. A little bit of a punky song. Yep.
Yeah. But very enjoyable overall. But yeah, it's a solid 2.5.
Yep.
It's worth listening to.
Can I be honest about something? You mentioned the concert. I've seen all three bands now. Of course, Soul Asylum. We saw them, 5 years ago?
Yeah, opening for Collective Soul and Three Doors Down.
Right, and then we saw STP just last year.
Yeah.
Now, I saw them a couple of years before that at the Big Growl. I'm kind of into the other two. Live's fine.
I've never seen them.
So it's been a long time.
They're the one I haven't seen that I've kind of wanted to see. So
yeah. I'll be interested to see how well they perform now.
Yeah.
But I'm just a huge STP guy, and I love Soul Asylum. So yeah.
Yep.
We'll see.
There we go. We'll see.
It's not like I'm going to sleep during Live.
No. We'll just see what we get.
Yeah.
There's a low bar.
Yes. Yep. Now for songs next week, got a couple more. We've talked about Alice in Chains not being active. At least Dave and I have.
Yes, we just discussed that.
But Jerry Cantrell, leader of Alice in Chains, has announced a new solo album. So, this will be 2 solo albums for him without a new album from Alice in Chains, which is very frustrating.
Just a little bit.
What did we say tonight? 6 years since Reindeer Fog?
2018.
It's been 6 years since the last Alice in Chains album. And this will be the second
Cantrell
album. So, I don't know what he's doing, but get the boys back together. Group dynamic.
We've talked about this.
First single from his upcoming solo album, I Want Blood, is Vilified. So we'll have that for you next week. And again, of course, Soul Asylum coming up in a couple months. Collective Soul review next week.
Yes.
And Dave, what did I tell you the other night when I was talking about Miles Kennedy?
That we were waiting for the second song to drop.
Guess what dropped?
The second song?
Yes. We have a new single from Miles Kennedy from his upcoming album, The Art of Letting Go. The second single is Nothing More to Gain. I was like, this has been 7 weeks, almost 2 months. Gotta be a new song coming. Sure enough.
And there we go.
Boom.
Ask
confetti.
and you shall receive.
Yep. Now, in terms of albums, just putting it out there for the future. Because these bands, these performers drive me fucking nuts with how they do this stuff. Supposedly, as everybody's listening here, on August the 3rd, yesterday,
The second.
we supposedly have not 1 but 2 new albums of interest.
Do we now?
But again, I have not seen anything.
No confirmation. So what are the rumors?
They might only hit digital. Smashing Pumpkins' new album supposedly hitting on August the 2nd. Again, have not seen anything, have not seen any singles released. And Jack White, his new album, supposedly hitting on August the 2nd. Now, that one I believe more because he's already given away copies of that to people who went to his record stores, Third Man Records. And now he has officially said now everybody will get access to it.
All right, we'll see what we get.
Yep. Now we move on to, let's do books. Let's do your book review next.
All right. Let's go literary for the kids here.
Because I got some news when you're done.
All right. So this week I have for you, it's been a few years since Randy Wayne White has written a book. Now we have One Deadly Eye, his latest Doc Ford novel. For those of you who don't know, Doc Ford is a marine biologist who lives on Sanibel Island down in the Keys. And Doc, a marine biologist is his cover. He's actually a government operative who will go in and eradicate certain people. He is a government assassin. So very low-key, looks like described as a nerd, but a nerd who knows how to take care of himself. Well, this finds Doc and his family in Dinkins Bay Marina on Sanibel preparing for a hurricane. They're kind of fluffing it off because it's supposed to go north, and yeah, shit goes south quick as the hurricane pretty much hits them dead on. Everybody's gone. Doc gets his fiance and kid out of Florida and off up north in North Carolina. He's just come back from the New Zealand area and an op where a Russian diplomat's disappeared, and now the Russian Bratva want to know what's going on and are aware of who he is. And so under the guise of the hurricane and a Russian insurance guy who uses hurricanes as cover to rob millionaires, there's a group joining him who has escaped from a Russian prison. Complete psychos, led by a truly evil, vicious individual. Doc teams up with a British inventor who happens to be connected with MI6 and who has a personal vendetta against the main Russian bad guy. So the two of them try and do what they can to stop everything that's going on. A lot of personal things come into play across the board. I will not give it away, but it was a pretty damn good tale with a lot of detail about what happens during hurricanes. And everything coming in, what happens during the eye, and then afterwards, and then the description of the aftermath.
I might know something about that.
Yes. So, no, I will give One Deadly Eye a solid 3, borderline weak 3.5. We haven't had a Doc Ford in a few years. I'd been wondering, when are we getting one? And here we go. So, definitely a very solid story in the series.
And another series that I've always wanted to read that I've never gotten around to. So, yes, again, the fact that I read 10 books a year versus Dave's 427.
Yeah, not this year. So, couple weeks I will have a new John Connolly.
Well, now, you have inside knowledge about new releases, but just in case you don't know about these, I will pass these along to you and the listening audience, because these are 3 books that we would normally gravitate towards. early 2025 releases. First up, February the 4th, 2025, will be the latest Alex Delaware novel from Jonathan Kellerman, Open Season. Then February the 18th will be Midnight Black, the newest Mark Greaney Gray Man novel.
Still a few behind on those.
Yeah, I'm
like
way behind
most
on
of the
those.
series.
Yeah.
I think I'm only like 3 or 4 books, 3 in the series, so I got a ways to go.
And then we're going back to the tandem of Lucas Davenport and Virgil Flowers.
Oh, the new Prey book.
April the 8th.
Another cop-out.
Yep, April the 8th will be Lethal Prey, featuring our boys. Once again, I don't know what Sanford's doing.
We need a straight solo Davenport. We need a straight solo Flowers.
He's got to stop with Letty. He's obsessed now, it seems like, with Letty.
Give Letty her own, but every other year, Davenport is your boy. That's who you started with. We need a solo Davenport yearly. You should have a Flowers.
See, this is
yearly.
where I have a problem.
You should have a Flowers yearly.
Yeah, but he can't do that.
Not anymore.
That's what I'm saying. My favorite is Virgil. I love the Virgil Flowers books. Now, I have jumped back into the Prey series because he's been bringing Virgil into the Prey series with Lucas Davenport. I understand what you're saying. He should go back to his bread and butter, and he should be doing a Prey book in the spring and a Flowers book in the fall.
Yes.
And he can set Letty out to pasture. I don't care about Letty. I don't care about Letty. I don't care. Tired of this crap. Oh, because it's a female protagonist. Oh, this is going to appeal to more people.
Box.
There you go. There you go.
Checkbox.
He should be doing Prey in the spring.
Prey books are Davenport focused.
Yes.
This last one with Letty was Letty focused. Wrong, wrong, wrong.
Yeah, he's almost relegated Lucas. When was the last time Lucas actually got his
A
own
solo
story?
one?
Yeah.
It's been about 5 years.
Yeah. It's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous.
You're killing me, Sanford. But you know what's not killing me and shouldn't be killing you either? It's enjoying Sports Frenzy 2.0, the weekend edition on Spotify, Pocket Cast, Apple, Overcast, Castbox, Amazon, Audible, iHeart Sports Frenzy, baby.
Of course, otherwise known as iHeartRadio. Don't forget to check out the Facebook page, especially if you like sports.
Yep, we drop Thursday your favorite politically incorrect sports commentary.
Plus, we got all sorts of picks, football picks, NASCAR picks, baseball picks. But you can also find links to each and every weekend edition. Now, you should be able to find those, whatever platform that Dave just ran through in 3.7 seconds, going all the way back to the very beginning. What, 3 years ago?
Taking it back.
Yeah, started this mess a little bit over 3 years ago.
Crazy.
So, well, technically, we started this 30 years ago.
30 years ago.
But
on cable access.
The podcast roughly 3 years ago. Maybe a little longer. But we're still doing it. We still enjoy it. We hope you do as well. And now we move on to movies. Now, before we get to our feature review, I think because Comic-Con has been going on, we should address the big headlines. Now, we mentioned earlier, we are going to see Deadpool and Wolverine.
Yes, we are.
We've already seen it as you're listening to this. We're scheduled to go see it on August the 2nd, when we're supposed to see Night Ranger and Jekyll.
Damn it!
So that's our make good. That's our way.
It's all right. We've found a positive out of the negative.
Yes, God damn it, that's what we do. We will always find the positive in the negative. Oh, wait.
Usually we find the negative in the positive.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I was thinking of another podcast. Sorry. But lots of news coming out of Comic-Con. Now, I told Dave and Mrs. C as we were heading down to see Pat Benatar, because, of course, we talk about a lot of this stuff, points of discussion.
When you have a couple hours to kill on the drive.
Yep. So I mentioned I saw footage, awesome drone footage of Marvel with this massive display over Petco Park in San Diego, where the San Diego Padres play, of Galactus coming up from behind the park with all these drones. And I'm like, this shit boggles my mind that they can do this.
With
I'm sorry.
The lights and
I just got rid of my flip
sync.
phone last year, Dave. Okay? This drone shit freaks me out.
It's freaking me out, man.
But yeah, Galactus rising up over Petco Park, and then it shifts and changes into the Fantastic Four logo. So, obviously, Fantastic Four, a big part of what Marvel was talking about at Comic-Con here. Pedro Pascal, shave the fucking mustache! Reed Richards does not have a fucking mustache!
It won't take you long to regrow it, dumbass.
I swear to God, Dave.
And it's
I swear to God,
and
he's got that shitty-ass mustache.
And it's
as
not
Reed
that
Richards.
impressive of a mustache.
No.
It's a wispy... It looks like Snoopy's cousin Spike.
No, because that will tell me that Disney and Marvel are caving to him instead of them telling him, like the New York Yankees, telling a player...
Clean facial hair.
Yeah. You are a Yankee. You represent the Marvel Universe.
You are Reed Richards. Reed Richards does not have facial hair.
So we'll see what happens. Supposedly they started filming this week. So I'm hoping that what he did was he showed up with his little douchebag mustache, and he's shaving it off now.
Two swipes and it's gone.
With the start of filming. Then, of course, other Marvel movies. Now, Marvel is all happy and giddy. They got a little chubby going because of the success through the first week of Deadpool and Wolverine. And they're saying, oh, we've reestablished. We're looking beyond the Marvels. We're looking beyond Ant-Man, Quantumanium.
Yeah,
we're looking.
Most of your Marvel shit is still relegated to Disney. People went to Deadpool Wolverine because it has no association with Disney.
Because Ryan Reynolds said we're doing it this way. Sean Levy, the director, said we're doing it this way, whether you like it or not. Just like James Gunn told them with Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3.
We're doing it my way.
Yeah, all those other directors had no pull, and that's why you almost destroyed the MCU.
No checkbox.
So.
No checky.
Number one, I don't understand. Thunderbolts I'm looking forward to. Because this is like the Suicide Squad of Marvel.
Yeah.
But they've added, this is, God, one of the dumbest things I've ever seen. They've added an asterisk to the end of the name. So now it's Thunderbolts with an asterisk.
What the fuck does that mean?
That's what I'm saying. I have not seen a reasonable explanation. Why the hell do you do that? That could be the dumbest thing I've ever seen in my life. Dumbest thing I've ever seen in my life.
That's what you get from Marvel nowadays.
But now we talked about the rumors that the Russo brothers were coming back, and it has been confirmed. The Russo brothers are coming back for the last two Avengers movies in the current cycle. But I think we knew this was coming. They have written Kang out of the equation. Of course, Jonathan Majors, being the idiot that he is, getting involved in domestic violence, ruined his chance at big money and becoming a major star.
Because he couldn't control his temper.
So Marvel had to regroup. They bring in the big guns with the Russo brothers. And they say, okay, we will take charge of the next 2 Avengers movies.
However,
well, the one that's coming up further down the road is their dream project. And it's a fan geek. I mean, it literally jizzing all over the screen. We're going to get Avengers Secret Wars. Secret Wars is a storyline that any comic book geek has wanted for decades and decades and decades. But before that, they have to set things up. Now, this was supposed to be where Kang was involved. This was supposed to be Avengers, the Kang Dynasty.
yes.
Then the big announcement comes. And I don't know. I'm interested to get your reaction on this. So we're going in a different direction. Jonathan Majors out of the picture. Kang written out of the picture. We are bringing in Doctor Doom. But who will play Victor Von Doom in Avengers Doomsday? Now, right now, I'm all in. I'm like, oh, this sounds fucking awesome. So you make the best of a bad situation. You get rid of Kang.
In another great villain.
Yes. Plus, you got the Fantastic Four tie-in.
Come on. What could screw it up?
The fact that they can't find another actor
to play Doctor Doom.
So they're going to bring in, yes, Robert Downey Jr.
Iron Man. Tony Stark himself playing the villain. Why did they just not go down the Tropic Thunder road and have him play Kang?
Or here's an idea. Find somebody else. You couldn't get Tom Cruise or some other big name, a Brad Pitt, or somebody to come into the Marvel Universe for the first time?
Somebody could have done this.
I am not a fan of when they do this. Nobody's saying that Robert Downey Jr. won't be great, but he is Iron Man!
Iron Man, damn it. The only time this has worked in a shift is putting Ryan Reynolds as Deadpool after the failed stint of Green Lantern.
But that was that's DC and Marvel.
It is. It's 2 different
The only
universes.
guy here, I got one for you. The only guy who's pulled this off successfully within the same comic book universe, Chris Evans. Chris Evans played Johnny Storm
and Fantastic Four, and then Captain America.
He's the only one to pull this off. Now, there are other actors who have played, like Aaron Taylor Johnson, who's playing Kraven, coming up finally.
Took
at some
damn
point this
long
year,
enough.
Also played Quicksilver.
Right.
But those minor characters. I mean, you're talking about one of the greatest superheroes and one of the greatest villains. And he's going to play both. Now, I'll be interested to see if they're going to do some kind of multiverse bullshit with this.
That's the speculation.
Because they have been emphasizing that Fantastic Four occurs in a different dimension. A different universe.
Yeah.
Altogether.
And
it does not happen on our Earth.
We know how Marvel loves the multiverse.
Yep. Which, of course, we saw with all the mess with Spider-Man.
Yep.
And it made a shit ton of money. So, I'm hoping the Russos will figure this out. Because
God, they got the work cut out for them to make this work. Because
I honestly think this is going to be a big hurdle to clear for a lot of comic book fans. To have that kind of willing suspension of disbelief to say, okay, the guy that tragically died as one of the greatest heroes of all time in Endgame is now one of the biggest villains.
The cornerstone of the original MC Universe run
Yes.
is now a bad guy.
Yeah. They're going to have to do something. They're going to have to somehow tie this in and say...
This screams desperation from Marvel to try and resurrect all the crap that's come out over the last few years.
It screams lack of creativity.
Well,
if there's not a bigger plan in place.
Yeah.
Because you can't tell me again, you could not find a huge... And I know what you're saying with Kang, but I'm fine. He was never a big, huge monster villain.
No, but you could have found somebody else to play Kang.
Any major star would have been chomping at the bit to jump into the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And I know you don't like Tom Cruise, but you could have got anybody. George Clooney, for the love of God, you know?
No, he ruined himself in superhero movies with the Batman bullshit.
The nipple suit?
No, he was just bad.
So there you go, kids. There's your Comic-Con update. And by the way, I hate the title of... Why did you have to even give Fantastic Four a title beyond the Fantastic Four? We're going to call it the Fantastic Four First Steps. Like the little bitty babies. The little babies.
We get it. You're doing another fucking reboot for the third damn time.
And I like the first two. Nothing wrong with the first two.
You didn't need to redo the first. The second one could have been a standalone. This one, a standalone. Stop the reboots. We get it. Everybody knows the origin stories.
Yeah, that's something you and I have always talked about. Is that we don't need to rehash the origin stories anymore.
They're established. You want to know what's going on? Watch one of the earlier ones.
Or read the goddamn comic books.
That too. Every time you get a new guy playing James Bond, you don't have an origin story.
There you go. Yeah, you get thrust right into the middle of the story. James Bond's on an assignment.
Boom.
Here's the case. Here's who's trying to stop. Whether it's Le Chiffre, whether it's Blofeld.
There you go.
All right, trailers. And one I showed Dave right before we started taping. Kevin Smith's latest movie out September the 13th. The 4:30 movie.
Oh my God, this looks great. Everybody's back.
Everybody is back. You got Jay. You have got Randall and Dante. You've got a rare sighting of Jason Lee.
Oh.
You got old Rosario Dawson in there. Looks good. Looks funny.
It looks hysterical.
Looks fantastic. Also, The Day of the Jackal. Peacock's remake of the classic novel. Been done a couple times. Third time's a charm, right?
No, stick with the original.
On Max. Now, this comes from James Gunn, so maybe it'll be good.
Maybe.
Animated. The Creature Commandos.
The Creature Goes Commando? What?
No, Joey. You're not going commando. Basically, another version of Suicide Squad with Rick Flag and Amanda Waller, except it's all monsters now. Now, it's animated, so it looks pretty good.
You can do a little bit more.
Remember the Weasel?
The Weasel!
From, the last Suicide Squad?
Yeah.
James Gunn's bringing him back in for this. But otherwise, it's...
Is the Weasel going to be voiced by Pauly Shore?
No, he's still working on his Richard Simmons
Oh, that's right.
movie. No, but you got Frankenstein and the Weasel and Dr. Phosphorus and the Bride of Frankenstein and... I don't know.
It's
not enough Not enough for me to re-sign up for Max. Sorry. You got it, so maybe you can
We've got
tell
it
me.
for a few more months.
I know your boy Nick will go gaga over it.
Probably will.
He's all into that animated stuff. This is one I'm looking forward to. Despite the fact that the last one was a box office bomb, we got another Hellboy movie. Hellboy the Crooked Man.
We like Hellboy. Come on.
I love Hellboy.
Hellboy is fantastic.
First two movies featured Ron Perlman as Hellboy. Then David Harbour took over. And now, I couldn't tell you who's playing Hellboy now, but the preview, the trailer looks phenomenal. You can tell it's low budget because it kind of looks like The Evil Dead. It all happens out in the woods around a spooky cabin.
All right, why not? What the hell?
And, within 10 seconds, you got a young girl laying on a bed with a raccoon burrowing into her face. And like, I'm in!
There you go.
But Hellboy's always been one of those awesome, awesome comic book characters.
Yeah.
With the right hand of doom. And then the cut off
the horns down.
The cut off horns, and love Hellboy. Absolutely love it. Cannot wait for Hellboy the Crooked Man. And then now I talked to you about what's coming up on Apple TV. August 14th, Bad Monkey.
Bad Monkey looks good.
I did not know until today it's based on a Carl Hiaasen book.
Yeah.
Hell, I'm in. I'm all in now.
I have not read it, but come on. It's Vince Vaughn, for crying out loud.
Yep.
He hasn't done anything in how long?
Vaughn and Hiaasen, I'm in.
Yep.
I'm in.
I may have to subscribe to Apple TV for this one.
Yep, and then you can catch up on all the other shit. You can watch, the boys can watch Monarch.
Yeah.
And you can watch Sugar.
Yep, we'll see what we get.
Yep.
So.
I am tempted. I am telling you, next month, I'm going to be very tempted.
Bad Monkey looks fantastic.
Yep. All right, so now we move on to our actual review of the week. Land of Bad. Russell Crowe starring as a drone pilot trying to help a group of 4 special ops agents on a mission gone terribly wrong.
Yep, 3 spec ops guys, and then the JTAC guy who communicates with Crowe's character to man the drone and call in the airstrikes and make sure everything goes according to plan.
To coordinate, yep.
Yeah, shit goes south quick.
Yep. I thought this was well done. I did.
I enjoyed this one.
I love the back and forth.
The rapport that they develop.
Yeah, and then at the end, I'm not going to spoil things, but at the end, when you're watching Russell Crowe do his thing, his personal stuff, he's been taken off duty, and then how things proceed from there. Meanwhile, you got these guys halfway around the world fighting for their lives, and you're like, how is this going to pull together? What are we doing here?
Yeah, and then they pull it together.
Yeah, they do a great job of pulling it. Now, I did have a problem with the timeline.
The time, yeah, it was...
From where Crowe was to where he needed to get to.
The time frame did not work in any way, shape, or form.
I was going to say.
That's the problem I had. And the boys had a problem with that as well.
Yeah, there's, again, no spoilers.
Everything was working up until that point.
Yeah. He needed to get that call a couple minutes earlier at least. Really, 10 minutes earlier.
15.
Yeah. Because what he had to do in that short time frame, I don't see that ever happening.
No.
If it wasn't for that, very, very, very good movie. As it is, still solid. I'll give it a solid 3 frenzies.
Yep, I was going solid 2.5, week 3. There were little bit I had some issues with, but a week 3 for sure. That timeline piece kept it back.
Yep. So, of course, Dave and I don't really, to keep the spontaneity going.
We don't discuss things ahead of time.
No, so he and I might have to talk about this a little bit more, even though we agree on this. I just want to...
There were
rough out the edges.
Some issues I had here and there with how things played out.
Yeah, that's what I want to know about. Because outside of that, I thought it was pretty well done.
Yeah.
But, of course...
It was just in some of the detail things.
There you go. I think I'm getting too nice. I think this is like the 3rd movie in a row where I've given a positive review. That's not like me.
I know. You feeling all right?
I know. I think I've got Ebola. I've got a fever. I've got the Black Death. This is not normal.
Do we need cowbell?
Because now with this, and then Abigail, and then what was the one before we did? The Beekeeper. Yeah, 3 in a row. Positive reviews. Oh my God.
Yeah, but they're kind of in our wheelhouse a little bit more. And we didn't have a disappointing horror.
And Beverly Hills Cop before that. Oh my God, that's 4 in a row. 4 in a row. Yeah, that's 4 positives in a row. Holy crap.
Good Lord. Well, the elections are coming up. The world is coming to an end. So, yeah. That makes sense.
Yeah, I think that
That explains it all.
Yeah. Because when was the last time I ever basically gave thumbs up to 4 movies in a row?
It's been a long damn time.
Oh my God. No, I just kind of liked it. I thought it was good.
Yeah, no, we thoroughly enjoyed it, but there were pieces
we'll talk
here
about.
and there,
We'll talk
but
about. Yep.
Yeah.
And then at the end, Russell Crowe's character gets his revenge, let's say.
Yeah,
dip fucks in his unit.
Yeah, I loved that.
Yeah.
That was brilliant.
Yep. And shame on, I know it's just acting.
But still.
Movie, but still, shame on his unit.
Yeah. The dip fucks.
Yep.
Forgot what they're there for.
Yep.
Yeah. But I do have a story time. So, turn on the TV in what we call the game room, because that's usually where we go to play our video games, as opposed to the game room in the basement where the pool table, dartboard, shuffleboard are. So, boys and I go in to watch as we were finishing up a couple of things. We see on the screen as it pops up, Bone Tomahawk with Kurt Russell, Matthew Fox. Nick goes, I've kind of wanted to see that. My youngest and my oldest kind of goes, yeah, I kind of want to see that too. I'm like, you guys are going to love it. So last week, we sat down to watch Bone Tomahawk. Great Western, eerie, gory, freaky, very well done, very well acted. One of the more realistic tales, I think, that you would find of what would happen. So, troglodytes, I think they were called.
Yeah, see, that's the thing. It's a Western, but it really borders on Western and horror.
It does.
It's a very fine line between the two.
Yeah. So, these cannibalistic natives come into this town, kidnap a deputy and the wife of one of the ranchers who's a doctor in training, and the person they're treating, the bad person who stumbled upon the area and got away from them. So the posse goes, and the husband has a broken leg and he's hobbling along. Just So well done. Kurt Russell leads amazing as the sheriff.
And that's the thing. Kurt Russell is so choosy about the roles he will do now. You're lucky to see him in something every 2 or 3 years.
Yeah. And this is a couple years old, but the pacing is solid. It keeps you going. Dialogue is minimalistic, which is perfect for this kind of Western. And the last 20 minutes, half hour, frickin' unbelievable. So damn good. It is a solid 3.5 must-see movie.
Yeah, it could be the best Western that we've seen in probably at least a dozen years. Now, who knows how Horizon's going to end up once we get to see that. But the genre is definitely on life support.
Yeah.
So,
and nobody writes Western novels anymore.
Right. Yeah, you don't have any Louis L'Amour anymore. You don't.
No, supposedly we're going to get a new Western coming out. Cole Hitch is supposed to be coming.
The old
been
Robert
delayed.
B. Parker, yep.
So that's like over a year delayed.
But when they did the first book in that series of the movie, Appaloosa, which we loved.
Oh my God, that was
it
brilliant.
did not do well at the box office.
Which is unfortunate because it was fan-freaking-tastic.
It's got to make money at the box office, otherwise people are not going to put more money into future Westerns. Now, supposedly, we talked about this, that they're talking about, and I still don't know if it'll ever come to fruition, but redoing the first movie in the Spaghetti Western trilogy, which of course is a no-no.
Do not touch the spaghettis.
And it just makes me wonder why. Why? With the fact that Horizon bombed. Now, Bone Tomahawk didn't really get a wide release. It's found a second life on streaming and on video.
It's found that cult niche.
Right. But is that enough? You know.
Unfortunately, probably not.
So we'll see. I'm always down for a great Western. I think the Western genre is so vastly overlooked and underrated. It's pathetic.
Oh, it's a brilliant genre.
Because you're basically distilling all human emotion down to a few columns. Good versus evil, greed, lust.
Right, wrong.
You don't have to get into all the nuances. You don't have to make it a Woody Allen movie.
No.
You know.
It's down and dirty.
Yep. So we'll see what happens. But yes, Bone Tomahawk, I watched it years ago. Phenomenal movie.
I believe we reviewed it early on in this podcast.
Could be. I think we might have. Early on, like first 6 months.
Yeah.
But yeah, I loved it. There's a very graphic, violent scene that sticks with you that could have, basically gets copied in Terrifier, the horror movie. Male versus female, but yeah. But still, great movie. So yes, check out Bone Tomahawk. All right, so we move on from movies to TV and streaming here on the Weekend Edition. Before we actually get to my review, do you have a review this week?
Nah.
Okay. Next week, I know your youngest will definitely be watching this, so I don't know if he's going to rope you in on it for next week.
Yes, the new Batman animated
Caped Crusader.
I might try an episode or two.
Yep, that is out there right now for you kids. Debuted Thursday, August the 1st, so it is out there for you. I think all episodes on Amazon Prime.
They all drop at once.
Yep, so there you go.
So
play along with us at home. Yep, play along with us at home and watch them all, and then we'll do our best to try to keep up. But I think we're going to be talking about it a little bit more at the end of the episode.
Could be.
All right, before we get into my review of the week for TV and streaming, big news on TV and streaming. So let's see if Dave knows about all this stuff. Now, this one I know he does. I don't know why they're making us wait another month, but we're going to have to wait until August the 30th before we get The Fall Guy on Peacock.
There's no reason to push it back.
The Olympics, Dave.
Fuck the Olympics. Nobody's watching.
But we will be getting an extended cut with, I believe, roughly 20 more minutes of footage.
That works.
Is Emily Blunt taking her top off?
We can only hope.
Sorry, John Krasinski.
Not.
Yeah, but that's too long. We just talked about earlier the new Planet of the Apes movie, which came out after The Fall Guy in theaters, and is already going to be on Hulu first week of August. Don't understand it. Don't get it.
Bad form.
Now, last week, of course, we reviewed Season 4 of The Boys. We're getting word about Season 5 already. And, of course, if you watched the end of Season 4,
Woo-hoo.
this won't be any surprise to you. Jensen Ackles will be back as a regular for Season 5.
Soldier Boy returns.
And he will also be back in another prequel. Prequel series called Vought Rising has been announced.
The origin of Vought?
Yes, with Jensen Ackles as Soldier Boy. So, Kripke's keeping his boy busy.
Yes, he is. Now, will it be the prequel where Ackles gets reunited with Padalecki?
Yeah, I'm still waiting to hear about these rumors where Padalecki has been
Begging,
talking to Kripke,
begging to become a part of the Boys universe.
Yep. We will see what happens. Now, I should slap you because I know what the answer is going to be. Have you watched that 90s show yet?
No.
God damn it, Dave! You're part of the problem! Because now Netflix is panicking. They are pushing up Season 2, Part 2, is what I call it, not Part 3, from October all the way up to August.
Okay, that's fine. We get it sooner.
No, that's a panic move. That's a panic move. They're burning off the episodes, meaning they're probably not going to renew it. Because nobody watched it when it debuted last month.
Because nobody wants to split bullshit.
That's true, too. That is true, too.
We're sick of splitting everything up.
They did say that could be a major cause of the problem.
It is a major cause of the problem.
They also did it with the final season just recently with Cobra Kai, and that hurt the viewership on that as well.
Yeah, how about you stop this split bullshit?
Yeah, I mean, look at Yellowstone. You split the final season at what?
We still haven't gotten it.
Yeah, 2 years between Part 1 and Part 2.
Who's going to go back to it?
Yeah, who is going to go back and rewatch?
Yeah, nobody. Nobody wants this shit. Why do you think everybody bailed on The Walking Dead?
Yeah, that's another good example. They took way too long between seasons and splitting seasons. Yep. Very good call. Speaking of a long wait, December the 26th, 2024, we will finally get Season 2 of Squid Game. And they promise that they will put Season 3 out in 2025, but that will be the final season. It's a 3-season run.
It can't go any longer.
But again, this is going to be another one where And
You
I
have
thought
to
about
wait.
this when I heard this news. I'm like, so now I'm going to have to go back and watch season 1 again.
Yeah, no. Not gonna do it.
But that's the whole point with these stories. You know, they're making us wait too long, splitting seasons, making...
Nobody's gonna care after a certain point.
What about Stranger Things? Seriously, am I going to remember what happened in season 4?
3 years down the road?
Yeah, by the time they put season 5 out,
It's gonna be almost, 4 years?
it's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. And now they're going to, we got to push that 90s show up.
Great!
But again, it's a panic move on their part because people were waiting. People were waiting, is what I'm reading, to see the full season.
Yeah, nobody wants this split bullshit. Just stop it. Run it through. You're losing people by splitting. We talked about this. We fucking told you so!
And then the other problem is it takes too long, like with Stranger Things, to put a goddamn season out.
Ugh.
Whether it's split seasons, whether it's waiting too long to put seasons out, we never had this problem back in the 70s and the 80s.
Into the 90s.
You got to break over Christmas.
Yeah.
Between Thanksgiving and
because
New Year's.
everybody was busy with everything else. Nobody was watching stuff.
So you get 13 episodes from September through mid-November.
Yep.
And then they would come back mid-January
with another
and run
12
through May,
to 13.
and run through early May. But no, that makes too much sense now.
God help. God forbid you do more than 8 fucking episodes of something.
All right, so my review, as you guys have known, as I've been talking about over the last few weeks, I have been watching Loudermilk on Netflix. Of course, this was a show that originated on DirecTV, their audience channel. I have to tell you, this show is one of the most erratic shows I have ever watched in my life. 30 episodes, 3 seasons, and it goes from arguably 4 frenzies at times down to 2 frenzies at other times.
Wow.
Now, I've already talked about the fact the first season, the introduction, the first half was great. Second half, abysmal, because they went off on a tangent with this stupid-ass subplot. And then again, thank God they dropped it completely. They bring one of the characters back in a very minor role at the end of season 3. But they obviously knew they made a mistake.
Yeah.
There's no way. If that subplot had any kind of traction, if anybody actually liked it,
it would have continued a little bit.
I mean, they stopped it. End of season 1, they stopped it.
Yeah, it would have come to a conclusion.
Yeah, no, they just, boom, cut it, stop it. Season 2, we'll go with Loudermilk, take it back in another direction.
Why can't more shows do that?
But again,
this is self-aware.
I know. So I give them credit for that they realized they made a mistake. First part of season 1, exceptional. Second part of season 1, very mediocre. The entire second season, 4 frenzies. It is so good. They focus on Loudermilk. They have other people in his group. Of course, this revolves around Sam Loudermilk heading up a sobriety group, trying to get these misfits off of drugs and off of alcohol. And for the most part, they're all very engaging, very entertaining characters. So the second season does it perfectly. Love the second season. Third season gets a little serious, which I guess you might expect with the subject matter. At some point, you figure they're going to go, well, maybe it's about time we start joking about addiction and sobriety and start looking at the repercussions and ramifications and how it affects family members. So they get serious in about half the episodes in season 3. Now, Brian Regan, I guess he's now a big stand-up comedian. He's in it, and they decide to make his character a lot more important in season 3.
To follow along with his success as a stand-up, to push him.
I think that's what it's all about.
Yeah, probably.
I think because
it's
he was taking off.
Push.
He was taking off as a stand-up comedian. So they decided to show everybody this is what this guy can do. And he basically takes it in a very serious way and does a great job with it. But for the overall vibe of the show, it kind of brings everything down from the overall fun vibe. Now, the question is, did they know? This is the Terriers question.
Right.
Did they know that the show was coming to an end? And if so, did they end it properly? Or if not, did they give themselves enough of a conclusion where it's still satisfying? And it's not right or left, like you and I always joke about with Terriers.
Yeah.
I think it's half and half. I think they were playing it smart.
Where they
give you a little bit of a wrap up.
But it's still open where if it would have gotten picked up, they could have continued.
I think it's 70-30 that they knew it was going to end. Because I don't know if they could have gone season 4. It would have been very awkward given how season 3 ended.
Okay.
And I loved how it ended.
There you go. That's a rarity these days.
Yeah, so even though season 3 was more serious, they do a good job with the characters of making you care and giving you a resolution for the most part. Not 100%, for the most part, in how things wrap up for them.
Okay.
Again, I wish I could rate this in like 5 different segments. Yeah. I will give it a strong 3 frenzies.
Overall. There you go.
Overall. And like I said, second season, 4. Absolutely 4 frenzies for the second season. Flawless. Absolutely beginning to end. But again, you have to watch the first season to know what's going on leading into the second season.
For everything to fully make sense.
So I basically go 2.5 for the first season, 4 for the second season, 3 for the third season.
All right, there you go.
So that's where you get your strong 3 from. I recommend it, but just beware, be forewarned. It's like a roller coaster ride. It's going to be really fantastic at times and really drive you nuts at other times.
Kind of like It's Always Sunny.
Yes, but that was almost more predictable, as we've always talked about.
Right,
where
like
it was
every
good
other...
episode, bad episode, good episode, bad episode.
Yeah.
This was a little bit more even in that it would peak and then go down for 3 or 4 episodes, then come back up again for a season and then go back. So it was a little more of an even run. Not the whole, bad episode, good episode, bad episode, good episode that you get with It's Always Sunny.
It was a smoother transition.
Yeah. Yeah. But Ron Livingston as Loudermilk, I will say this, one of the greatest TV show characters ever.
All right.
This show has a lot of high fidelity in it, let's put it that way. A lot of the rock and roll stuff. Every episode is the name of a song.
Nice.
A classic song. He was a former critic for Rolling Stone. And he realizes the error of his ways. He realizes he was a douchebag, and he's trying to be better. And that's a key part of season 3, which is really cool. In that how that kind of, to a point, makes his life better.
All
realizing that, criticizing other people's work might not be the best career path to go down.
All right, there you go.
I will say this. Final thing, and then we move on. I'm sad that I finished it. I wish I had more episodes to watch. So, now I'm thinking I got to go back and watch The League again. So, thanks to your wife sending me the meme about Chalupa Batman. Now I'm like, I gotta
the
watch
two
the
cats.
league again. Yeah.
The two cats who were adopted, Chalupa and Batman.
And if you don't get that reference, you need to do what I'm gonna do.
And watch the league.
Yes, now I've watched already, so I got it. One of the greatest, if not the greatest, comedy of all time.
Oh my God.
And we're getting close
so
to
good.
football season.
So maybe it needs to resurrect.
I can watch it on Hulu. But of course I own them all. So.
That's right.
All right.
I do have the soundtrack.
Yeah, your car kept wanting to play the soundtrack. I saw every time the navigation system would bop out when we were going down to Pat Benatar.
Yeah.
I think I have it somewhere too.
I'm inside me.
All right. Moments of silence. We didn't have any for sports, and I've only got one for entertainment.
Who do you have?
This is a rarity. Well, this is for the young women out there, or the women our age, for back when they were young women. Let's put it that way. Because I like to think I'm an equal opportunity type of guy. I don't just look for stuff that's relevant to me.
Right, but relevant, overall relevant.
Right. So this,
with
again,
mass appeal.
This is relevant to women who were mid-50s for when they were growing up.
Ah, yes.
Francine Pascal.
The author of Sweet Valley High.
Yep. And of course, the Sweet Valley High books were a phenomenon back in the day. Kind of like Goosebumps.
Yep.
You know.
And all those young girls who read Sweet Valley High in their youth are now the ones who went gaga over the 50 Shades.
Don't get me started on that. Don't.
Am I wrong?
The hypocrisy of 50 Shades of Grey. The absolute hypocrisy of that.
Oh, the story. Oh, yeah, it's so hot. Hey, baby, want me to spank you? You degenerate, go away!
That's what I'm saying. Welcome to reality.
Yep.
Welcome to the sexually repressed United States of America.
There was an event where a lot of my wife and her friends were discussing the book, and I called them on it. None of them had a response. That was a mic drop moment, and all the other husbands patted me on the back as I walked away.
Because it's true!
It's so
true! It's
true.
so true!
It's so true. None of them had the balls to express it.
50 Shades of Grey, huge hit. Books, movies, all the romance books. Books about beast men having sex with women. Yet the minute their husbands say, hey, like
let's
you
go.
said, let's do a Beavis. Hey, baby.
Hey, baby.
They go,
Go
no,
away, you
go
degenerate."
away. I got a headache. My back hurts.
Not tonight.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Hypocrites. That's okay. That's okay. That's why we have football. You get abstinence, we get football.
There you go.
All right, so we did all of our Olympic dumbasses this week on the Sports Frenzy Sports Edition. So we have got 4 pop culture dumbasses to wrap things up here. Let's start off with a show we just talked about a few minutes ago. Batman Caped Crusader, which right now is available on Amazon Prime. Now, Batman was the one superhero who had a ton of female nemesis, right?
Yes.
Nemesi, whatever. You had Catwoman,
Poison Ivy, Harley Quinn, and numerous others.
but for some reason,
Wasn't Cheetah in there as well?
I think that's right. No, Cheetah.
No, Cheetah was Spider-Man.
Wonder Woman. No, Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
Wonder Woman. Yeah, because she was in that abysmal
Yeah.
second Wonder Woman movie.
Yeah, it's still DC.
Wonder Woman 84.
Yeah, whatever.
That nobody watched and destroyed the franchise. But yes, now in the animated Batman Caped Crusader, as I mentioned, right now should be available for you guys listening on Amazon Prime. They decided, no, let's do it. Take it one step further.
Let's take an established male character and make that character a female.
So the Penguin in Batman Caped Crusader is actually a woman, voiced by Minnie Driver.
And Burgess Meredith is spinning in his grave.
And again, why, when you've got a character who has so many female villains,
why do you have to rewrite an established character as something else? I hate that shit.
It's dumb, dumb, dumb beyond belief. Dumbass beyond belief. Now, let's rip on a show that I like. A universe that I like. I've always said I am a Star Trek guy.
Yep.
Not a Star Wars guy. I haven't watched anything Star Wars in the last decade. Not even the last 2 movies, let alone
That's fair.
The Mandalorian or any of the new show, The Acolyte, which sounds like it's absolute trash. But now Star Trek going too far.
Not them, too.
Now, I love the new show, Strange New Worlds. The one before that, Discovery, was a piece of crap, PC garbage beyond belief. But that doesn't look like it's going to stop the idiots at Warner Brothers Discovery from destroying the Star Trek universe. So they have not 1 but 2 projects in the works that are going to destroy Star Trek. Number 1, a stage musical.
Oh, come on!
Yeah, there was a musical episode of Strange New Worlds.
Oh.
Now, they were able to write it so that it made sense, that it was like a space virus that infected everybody and they can only speak in song. But they were like, oh, well, this sounds like we could really go to town and put it on Broadway.
Yeah, no. Bad idea.
Oh, but it gets worse. Oh, but it gets worse. Because that's just in the beginning stages. They're just kind of, sort of talking about that.
No.
This one is actually already got producers, and they're getting ready to cast and film. Now, we grew up in the age of the sitcom, right?
Yes, we did.
Can you imagine a Star Trek sitcom?
No.
They're going to have one.
No, it doesn't work.
There will be a Star Trek live-action comedy coming soon to
No.
Paramount Plus.
That's dumb beyond belief.
That's why it's in
Who is the fucking moron in charge of programming at Paramount right now?
This is why I've told you, Paramount's going to go away, Warner Brothers Discovery going to go away.
Oh my God. Such bad decisions.
And I apologize. I think I might have mentioned Warner Brothers Discovery instead of Paramount at the beginning of that. So it's all Paramount. Paramount's all the dumbasses
Paramount's screwing everything up right now.
Come on, a live-action sitcom?
No.
Based on Star Trek?
No, that's just dumb.
Gene
Dumb
Roddenberry,
beyond belief.
Gene Roddenberry would be rolling over in his grave right now.
You're going to kill William Shatner.
And I'm okay if you kill George Takei. I'm sick of him. Another guy who thinks he's smarter than everybody else. Sorry, that's just me. All right. Got to start ripping on the future maybe president of the United States, Kamala Harris. Not because of anything she's doing outside of the world of entertainment, but Democrats are big on sucking up to Hollywood. So Kamala Harris skips the address to Congress from the Israel Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, so she can show up on the season finale of RuPaul's Drag Race show.
Yeah, because a stupid fucking TV show is more important than the world political stage.
Oh, and then she also made a point to show up at Comic-Con.
Idiot.
And then I'm embarrassed. This is kind of a side dumbass for this, like a tangent dumbass. And this really hurts because this involves somebody we like, and he's destroying something that we like. That would be one Jeff Bridges destroying The Big Lebowski.
Dude, what are you doing?
You just said it. You just said it. Dude. Jeff Bridges, along with a bunch of other Hollywood dipshits, forms White Dudes for Harris.
Oh, no.
In order to garner money, support, and donations for Kamala Harris. Of course, it involves Jeff Bridges and Mark Hamill. White Dudes for Harris.
You know, somebody was telling me a little bit about these fucktards trying to talk about what being a man is about, and they were the most pansified, deballed comments you could possibly imagine.
Yeah, exactly. But they think they're enlightened. They think they're so much smarter than everybody else.
Shut up! Shut up, you trained monkeys, and entertain me.
It's the whole... They're brainwashed because the minute you start acting like a guy, toxic masculinity. It's toxic masculinity. We got to shout you down because it's toxic masculinity.
Toxic this, you fucktard.
Yeah. I'm proud of my balls. I'm proud of my penis. And I really don't care what you fucktards in Hollywood think of it. Maybe it's a little small, but I'm okay with that.
Yeah. Like I said, shut up and entertain me. I don't give a shit about your political views.
Yeah. I don't think you're going to find any white dudes for Harris here on this show. And the sad thing is, Jeff Bridges, I'm ashamed of you for daring to denigrate The Big Lebowski like this. And Mark Hamill's too far gone. You want to talk about a guy who's not a guy? He's a pussy.
God.
He is a pussy.
Such a wuss bag.
Oh my God. We all knew Luke Skywalker was a pussy anyway. Han Solo, of course, was the man in all the Star Wars movies. But oh my God, I didn't realize Mark Hamill was really like that in real life. Grow a pair, Luke. Grow a pair. Did Darth slice off your balls with a lightsaber?
You had more balls in Corvette Summer.
There you go. Then he reached puberty. All right, and finally, we've been talking a lot about airlines lately and problems with airlines. Right, we talked about United a couple times here recently, having issues with, on the sports side, Terrell Davis,
Yep.
Hall of Fame running back, and then, of course, the woman who said she used the wrong pronoun to a flight attendant and couldn't get on the plane. Well, here's the opposite. You want to talk about rich, pampered, privileged people getting mad for the wrong reasons? I know we said something a couple months ago, and I explained this about I was making fun of something involving an illness, right?
Yeah.
And I explained I'm not making fun of the illness. I'm making fun of the people exploiting the illness.
Right.
And that's what I'm going to say again. I'm not making fun of the illness. I'm making fun of the people exploiting the illness. A California woman. Shocking!
Oh!
Shocking! A California woman.
We were promised California was going to fall into the ocean or burn off the map. But when?
A California woman is suing JetBlue Airlines. Why? Why, Maestro? She says her cancer, which was in remission, has returned due to the stress induced on her because JetBlue did not allow her to have her emotional support dog with her in first class. Now, you got to read the whole story. I am not going to go into the details on this whole mess.
Was it a legitimate emotional support animal? Or was it a made-up? Did it actually have the paperwork and the vest that they're supposed to have?
Well, this is what I'm saying. You gotta read the details of the story. All I can tell you is, it sounds like, to me at least, JetBlue tried their best because she came out with her husband and her support animal, and they told her, not in first class. You can't do this in first class. You can have him back in coach. And of course, she wouldn't do that.
Because she's an entitled twit.
Yeah, it sounds like she was more than willing to have her husband sit back and coach, but she wanted the first class seat and wanted her dog with her. So then they said, okay, you don't have the proper carrier. It's too big. We've got one. Put your dog in this and you'll be okay. The dog wouldn't fit in it. So they told her, said, this is not going to work. Again, you have the option of going back to coach, or we're going to have to take you off the plane. They took her off the plane, and now she's suing.
Shoot her. Take her out back and shoot her for stupidity.
Now, again, there's a lot more detail to this. I summarized it the best I could, but that's basically what I took away from this. I don't understand. I'm sorry. I'm going to sound like an asshole here over the last minute before we say goodbye.
No, she should not. No, I
don't have any idea what the fuck we have done with our society when we didn't have this 15 years ago. Nobody needed an emotional support animal 15 years ago. But now we have to have emotional support animals.
We have to have safe spaces.
How the hell did we ever survive back in the 70s and the 80s without emotional support animals? Because you know what they told you?
Rub some dirt on it, you'll be fine.
If you're going to get on a plane and you want to bring a pet, you put the pet in a carrier, we put it in the belly of the airplane, and then it'll be there for you when we land. Sounds pretty simple and straightforward. No, I need to carry my pet animal with me at all. We have made air travel so stupid, between arrogant flight attendants, between arrogant passengers,
and fucktards.
Half the planes out there should end up being part of the fleet of the sports frenzy plane of doom with these idiots out there. And I'm sorry, I don't get, and you can leave me a comment and say I'm an asshole, and that's fine. There are plenty of times when I would go, yeah, maybe I really shouldn't have said that. Maybe I should rethink my stance on it.
Most of these people who claim they have emotional support animals are fucking lying out their ass.
That's my point. Yes.
If you have documented paperwork, if you have the vest, there's protocols you have to have for it to be legit. If you don't have it, fuck you, go away.
But even then, I don't get it. I don't get it.
I don't either.
Because I'm so lonely and I'm so needy. I don't care if you have cancer. I'm sorry. I don't care. The dog isn't curing your cancer. Do you understand that?
And the stress.
But the dog makes me feel better. The dog makes me feel better.
That's great.
There's a lot. I would love to take on a 24-pack of Natty Lights onto every plane I would ever get on because they would make me feel better. Are they going to let me? Hell no. But you get to take your little fucking chihuahua because it makes me feel better and safer. Get over it. God help me. Get over it. God, we become such a pussified society. You either get on the plane as is with your clothes and a one regulation size carry-on, or get the fuck off the plane. Take your fucking chihuahua, stick it straight up your ass. Hopefully it'll eat your lower intestine and you'll die before you land in Honolulu, you rich, entitled bitch! Ah!
Feel better now?
Yes, I do!
No,
I've
you're
been-
supposed to bring it down.
I can't stand these people!
I know. The entitled fucks of the world are destroying everything.
Oh my God. Actually, I do feel better now. Oh my God. Oh. This is why I don't travel. You guys wonder why I don't leave Indiana. Unless we're driving up to Grand Rapids to see a concert.
Why do you think I don't fly? I drive everywhere.
I can't stand this shit. It would drive me insane.
Yeah.
And they even make fun of it now in commercials.
Yeah.
You know, yes, we know we're entitled and we're making your life miserable, but ha ha, we're here. Literally, the air marshals, probably the first flight I would take. I haven't been on an airplane in over 15 years. The first flight I would take, the air marshals would have to drag me off. They'd have to stop the plane halfway, land somewhere in like butt-fucked Kentucky, and drop me off and put me in jail. Because I guarantee within 15 minutes, somebody would do something to piss me off. Yeah. And I'd be across the aisle, punching him in the face.
And to quote Saliva, click, click, boom.
Oh my God, I just can't stand people.
I think we said it best in the sports edition this week where we claim that we hate people and that's our new tagline.
Yeah, that should be our new slogan. Oh my God. All right. I've kept Dave long enough on this extravaganza. We hope you enjoyed it. Next week, Collective Soul live in Grand Rapids, Michigan. I'll have a couple Planet of the Apes movie reviews. We will have Deadpool and Wolverine. So, fun stuff next week, I promise. Hopefully, we won't be yelling and screaming about airport shit for 1 week at least. So, here's an idea, idiots. Control yourselves this week. Don't do something stupid getting on an airplane. How about that?
Just be normal as you can be, and don't make other people's lives miserable.
He's a conquistador, Dave Height.
He's the maestro, Kevin Crane.
We'll talk to you next Saturday morning for your pop culture hangover cure. Your politically incorrect pop culture hangover cure. And if you love sports, check out Thursday mornings, the sports edition of Sports Frenzy 2.0. But until then, say good night to the kids, Dave.
Good night to the kids, Dave.
God, you're melodramatic.